the kth derivative of y in terms of x is equal to what? That's c times npk, right? Times x raised to n plus k. And then yung isa pa, say you were given a function y equals c times ax plus b raised to n. And then the kth derivative of y in terms of x is equal to, you have cn, right? C times, c times a raised to k times n p k, right? Times ax plus b raised to n plus k. Then, or yung isa pa, y equals c over x raised to n. The kth derivative is written as -1, am I right? -1 raised to k, then times c times, what else? That's n plus k minus 1 p k all over x raised to n plus k. So what will happen if you were given the function y equals x raised to 1 over n? Or we can extend also this technique into y equals ax plus b raised to 1 over n. No? So we first generate this y equals x raised to 1 over n. Say y equals x raised to 1 over n. Okay. Then y prime, so you bring 1 over n down, then x, then you subtract 1 from 1 over n. Okay. And then y double prime equals 1 over n, bring 1 over n minus 1 down, copy x, then you subtract 1 from 1 over n minus 1. So that's 1 over n minus 2. Then y triple prime, then try to observe a pattern. 1 over n times 1 over n minus 1. Then you bring 1 over n minus 2 down, copy x, then you subtract 1 from 1 over n minus 2. So that's 1 over n minus 3. Then fourth derivative, so that is equal to 1 over n times 1 over n minus 1 times 1 over n minus 2. Then you bring this down, 1 over n minus 3, copy x, then you subtract 1 again. So that will become minus 4. Now, can you now see the pattern? So you have y, or the kth derivative of y in terms of x equals 1 over n times 1 over n minus 1 times 1 over n minus 2 times 1 over n minus 3, running until when? Until what? Until you reach 1 over n minus, you look at here, 1, this is 1 over n minus 0, okay? This is second derivative, you have until 1 over n minus 1. Third derivative, until 1 over n minus 2. Fourth derivative, until 1 over n minus 3. Then, if you're looking for the kth derivative, you keep on multiplying until you reach 1 over n minus k,
K
or
minus 1.
k minus 1. Then you copy x, oh my, hindi kasya. X raised to 1 over n, 1 minus 1, second derivative minus 2, third derivative minus 3, fourth derivative minus 4. So minus k, right? Say, if you have y raised to x raised to 1/2, and then you're looking for, say, seventh derivative. Say, the seventh derivative of y in terms of x. Then, the seventh derivative of y in terms of x is equal to, so, ganito. You draw 7 spaces here kasi that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then, you start at 1/2 times 1/2 minus 1, 1/2 minus 2, oops, times, hold on, sala na siya eh. Okay, basta 7 yan. So that's 1/2 times 1/2 minus 1 times 1/2 minus 2 times 1/2 minus 3, 1/2 minus 4, 1/2 minus 5. Ilan na siya? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then one more. 1/2 minus 6. Then copy x. Then 1/2 minus 7. Or, yeah, it's 1/2 minus 7. That's n minus k. Right? Then you just multiply 1/2. 1/2 minus 1. That's negative 1/2. 1/2 minus 2, negative 3 halves. 1/2 minus 3, negative 5 halves. You correct me if I'm wrong, ha? 1/2 minus 4, negative 7 halves. 1/2 minus 5, negative 9 halves. Am I right? Then 1/2 minus 6, negative 11 over 2. Then copy x, 1/2 minus 7, negative 13 over 2. Okay? You see the pattern? 1, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, then 13. Okay? Then you just multiply how much? So all over 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Over 2 to the 7. So 2 to the 7, what's 2 to the 6? 64. 1 to 8. So that's 1 to 8. Then can you multiply the numerator? You have 99. 99 times 35. Yeah, that's 9 times 11. 5, 4, 45, 49, 7, 2, 27, 29, 3, 3, 4, 6, 5. 3, 4, 6, 5 times 3. Right? So that's 15, 1, 18, 19, 1, 12, 13, 1, 9, 10. 10, 395. Can you execute this on your calculator and try to verify? 10,
Tama po, sir.
395. Then x raised to 1/2 minus 7 is negative 13 over 2. And then the sign, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 negatives, so therefore that will become positive. Okay? Then, yeah. And then if we can extend it into this form, yung y equals ax plus b raised to 1 over n. What do you think will happen? Lagyan natin ng c in front. So that c is constant. So y equals c times ax plus b raised to n. Okay? Then, what do you think will happen? Okay? Isin lang natin. So what do you think will happen? Ax plus b raised to 1 over n. So that will become y, or the kth derivative of y in terms of x would be, okay, gawin natin. C times a raised to k. Diba, nagdi-differentiate tayo ng a at the end dito. You remember that one? Na dumadami yung A. So that's A raised to K, and then you just follow this rule. Times 1 over n times 1 over n minus 1 times 1 over n minus 2, then running until 1 over n minus k minus 1. K minus 1. And then close, then times ax plus b raised to 1 over n. Yeah. Okay. Then try natin. Kaya ba dito? Asya? Okay, we have y equals 2 minus x raised to 1/3. Gawin natin 2/3. Then find the fourth derivative of y all over x to the fourth. The fourth derivative of y in terms of x. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes po.
Okay, then we'll have, oops, dito ko na lang isusulat ha, I'll change color. Y, fourth derivative, yeah. Fourth derivative of y in terms of x is equal to, we have a is -1, we have c is equal to 1. So you have -1 raised to k, that's 4, right? And then you have, so that's 4. So apat na term na ganyan. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then -1 ng -1. But you will start at 2/3. Okay? So you have 2/3 times 2/3 minus 1 times 2/3 minus 2 times 2/3 minus 3. Okay? Then times x, or 2 minus x raised to 2/3 minus n, minus 4. Right? Then you just simplify. You know that this -1 is -1 to the 4 is equal to 1. So you have 1 times 2/3 times 2/3 minus 1 is how much? -1/3. Am I right? Then 2/3 minus 2 is -4/3. Yeah, 3 times 2 is -6. Yeah. Then times 2/3 minus 3 is -7. Yeah, right? 7/3. Then copy 2 minus x raised to 2/3 minus 4 is negative 3 times -4, -12, -10/3. Okay? And then, yeah, multiply na natin. So you have, sa ilalim, you have 3, 3, 3, 3. There are 4 3s. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3 to the 4. That's 81. And then on the numerator, you have 2 times 1, 2 times 4, 8 times 7. That's 56. All right. And then the sign 1, 2, 3. So this gives us -56. Then copy 2 minus x raised to -10/3. All right. Okay. Enough of that. Then let's proceed with implicit differentiation. Okay, so what's an implicit differentiation? An implicit differentiation is the process of finding the derivative of an implicit function. And the function written of the form f of xy equals 0 is what you call an implicit function. Okay, example of which, so you can just easily identify whether a function is implicit or explicit. Okay, whenever the variable x and y are mixed up. Okay, when, yeah, kapag sila ay halo-halo na, like x squared plus 2xy plus y squared is equal to 4xy. So this is an example of an implicit function. And as you can notice, the x and the y are mixed up. Okay. Whenever the y is isolated, say y equals x squared plus 3x plus 1. So this is an explicit function. And you can just simply get the derivative of this, okay, by directly using the formula and by, explicit differentiation. So that's 2x plus 3, okay? However, so you have x squared plus 2x plus y squared equals 4xy. And if you want to look for dy dx, we might be having difficulty looking for y in terms of x, okay? So medyo mahirap to kasi hahanapin natin yung y in terms of x. And how do you do that? Okay, let me try it. Let me show it to you. So you have, we are looking for or solve y in terms of x. So you have x squared plus 2xy plus y squared equals 4xy. So we collect all the terms containing y. Okay, so you'll have x squared is equal to 4xy, then minus 2xy minus y squared. And then x squared is equal to 4xy minus 2xy is 2xy, then minus y squared. Okay? And then, how do you look for y here? So this is what I'm going to do. Dapat palainan ko na. Ito ibabalik ko sa kabila. Sorry. So I'll write it of the form y squared minus 2xy plus x squared. Okay? Equals 0. And you can notice that this is of the form y minus x quantity squared equals 0. And this is equal to y minus x equals 0 and y is equal to x. So yeah, I mean, dy dx is just equal to 1. But what if, I'll give you another one, a little more complicated. Let's see, we have here x squared plus 3xy. I just don't want to cancel out the middle term kasi when the middle term's been canceled out, naging perfect square trinomial na siya. Just to give you, a little difficult expression, just to show you na it will be very hard for us to differentiate, explicitly yung mga implicit function. Say, ito na lang. Perfect ba siya? Ito na lang, hindi siya perfect. Okay. Say we want to look for the y in terms of x. Okay. So again, just like what we do earlier, this is what I'm going to do. Y squared, then minus 3xy. I will just multiply negative 1 everything. Equals 0. And then you can see this y squared, and this is 3xy, and this is x squared. There's no y here. Okay. So what are we going to do is I'll be using the quadratic formula. I will let a be equal to 1 and b equal to negative 3x and c equals negative x squared. So you have y equals negative b, okay, plus minus the square root of b squared, that is 9x squared, minus 4ac all over 2a. And that is 1. And then let me just, oops, hold on, I'll just save this first. Kalimutan kong i-save to. Where is that? And then kindly simplify it on your sheet while I'm pulling out my snipping tool. ME1106. Then today is 28. 28.21. Okay, kapiyahin natin to. Then lipat natin sa kabila. I'm on board number 4. Okay. So you have y is equal to negative times negative 3x will become positive 3x plus minus the square root of 9x squared, then minus 4 times 1 times negative x squared plus 4x squared, right? All over 2. Am I right? Hold on. That's negative 3x minus x squared. That's the C. Okay? Oh my, na-cancel din siya eh. Grabe. Anyway, na-cancel din siya eh. I was thinking na hindi siya maka-cancel. Na hindi siya masisimplified pa. Anyway. So, ito yung mangyayari dyan. It just so happen na maka-cancel to. I mean, mako-combine ko to. Y equals 3x plus or minus the square root of 13x squared all over 2. But that's what happened if you solve an implicit function, if you isolate y from an implicit function, and then you will differentiate this dy dx. Okay, equals, okay, so you have 3 plus or minus, then you can just simply write this as a square root of 13x. Okay, so the square root of 13. Okay, yeah, na-simplify kasi ito eh. I was expecting na hindi to masisimplify. Ayan nga. Okay, anyway, so yun. I mean, that's how hard it is. Okay, just assume na hindi to masisimplify itong dalawang to. So it might be difficult for us to differentiate this explicitly. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we will employ the process of implicit differentiation. Okay. And there are two things na lang. There are two things that you need to remember when you are employing the implicit differentiation. Number one, okay, you must differentiate if you're looking for dy dx. So dy dx, y being the dependent variable and x being the independent variable. So when I interchange the two, so you have dx dy, so x now is the dependent variable and y is the independent variable. Okay? So yan. So when you're looking for dy dx or dx dy, you must differentiate every term in terms of x and in terms of y. But when you're differentiating with respect to the dependent variable, you always need to affix, okay, the variable of differentiation, say dy dx or dx dy. So like when you are differentiating with respect to y, so mag-a-affix kayo ng dy dx. If you're looking for dx dy and you are differentiating with respect to x, okay, you will be affixing dx dy on the function. And one more thing, another thing you need to remember is that when you are differentiating with respect to x, okay, with respect to x, you will hold y and other variable constant. Then magpa-practice tayo later. And when you are differentiating with respect to y, you will hold x or other variable constant. Okay? And then say for example, practice tayo before we execute the process. Say, what is the derivative of 4 in terms of x? You can open your microphone. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me or?
0 po.
Thank you. 0. In terms of x, what's the derivative of 4x in terms of x?
4 po.
4 po. What's the derivative of 4y in terms of x? Since there's no
Hindi ko po alam.
Since there's no x here, okay? There's no x here.
4y.
That's 0. Okay? You will treat
Yes.
4y constant because there's no x. Okay? Derivative of 4xy in terms of x, so this is no longer 0. Why? Because there's already an x. So what are you going to copy? You copy the constant term, so that's 4y. And then you differentiate x, and that is 1. Right? So that's 4y. One more. Say x squared y cubed. In terms of x, you need to copy y cubed because that is treated constant, and then times derivative of x squared, and that is 2x. Right? One more. Say x over y in terms of x. In terms of x, ito yun. In terms of x. The variable on the denominator. Okay? In terms of x, y is constant. So you just copy 1 over y, then derivative ng x. Okay? That's 1. That's derivative of x is 1. Sorry. That's 1 over y. Okay? One more. Derivative of y over x in terms of x equals hello? Which one is constant? Y. So you copy it y. Then times derivative of 1 over x. What is the derivative of 1 over x? That's negative 1 over x squared. All right? It's negative 1 over x squared. Okay? Punta tayo sa y. Derivative of z in terms of y. No?
0 po.
0 po.
Zero
Kasi
po.
there's no y. Derivative of x in x squared in terms of y. Still 0. Derivative of x squared y in terms of y. You say?
2x.
Oops. In terms of y.
X squared at 1 po.
Squared
X
po.
squared po.
Okay. X squared times the derivative of y. X squared times 1. Then, derivative of x raised to 1/2 y cubed in terms of y.
Ano po? X1 half.
X raised to 1/2 3y squared po.
Okay, thank you. That's 3 x raised to 1/2 y squared. And I think you already know the process of implicit differentiation. Let's proceed to some examples. Number 1. Say x squared plus 3xy minus y squared then equals 3x plus y. Okay, so this is the process. So you are going to differentiate every term on the right side and every term on the left side twice. In terms of x, and then do it again in terms of y. Hold on. Find dy dx. You have x squared plus 3xy minus y squared equals, you do the same on the right, in terms of x, that's 3x plus y plus, in terms of y, right? Then 3x plus y. And then you'll have, you execute the derivative. First, in terms of x, you're differentiating in terms of x. You hold y constant. Okay, derivative of x squared. In terms of x.
2x.
2x. Derivative of 3xy in terms of x. 3y.
3y po.
3y.
Derivative of y squared in terms of x. 0.
0.
Plus, you are now differentiating with respect to y. Do not forget to affix the variable of differentiation, dy dx, or you could also use y prime. Okay? Then times derivative of x squared in terms of y, 0,
0.
plus derivative of 3xy in terms of y, 3x. Then, derivative of negative y squared in terms of y, negative 2y, equals. Then, derivative of 3xy in terms of x, that is 3 plus 0. Plus, again, you are now differentiating with respect to y, you affix dy dx. Then times derivative of 3x with respect to y, that's 0. Derivative of y with respect to y, that's 1. Okay? And then the next step is to collect all the terms containing dy dx and isolate all other terms. So you have dy dx times 3x minus 2y. Okay? This is plus 1. You throw it on the other side, will become minus 1. Equals 3. Then 2x minus 2x, positive 3y minus 3y. And then finally, you can have dy dx equals, you just write this on the denominator. 3 minus 2x minus 3y all over 3x minus 2y minus 1. And this is your dy dx obtained by implicit differentiation. Okay? 2. Y squared equals x plus 1. Okay. Sir, is this implicit or explicit? Y squared is isolated from x plus 1. What do you think? Explicit or implicit?
Implicit pa rin
X
po.
po ata. X.
That is still implicit. No, implicit pa rin yan. Why? Because of that y squared. So it's not, y is not totally isolated. Ang explicit form niyan ay ganito. Y equals plus or minus the square root of x plus 1. Yan ang kanyang explicit form. So if you want to get for dy dx, so dy dx equals, okay, sulat natin siya of this form. Y equals plus or minus x plus 1 raised to 1/2. Right? And then dy dx equals plus or minus 1/2 x plus 1, you subtract 1. I am working on explicit differentiation times derivative of x plus 1, which is 1. Then dy dx equals, on the numerator, I have 1. On the numerator, I have 1. On the denominator, I have plus or minus 2, the square root of x plus 1. Okay? So this is your dy dx or y prime. Okay, then let's do it implicitly. Say y squared equals x plus 1. And this is what I'm going to teach you. Another method on how to employ implicit differentiation. Okay? Again, just the same thing. You're going to differentiate with respect to x and differentiate with respect to y. So when you differentiate with respect to x, you add dy. When you When you differentiate with respect to x, you add dx. When you differentiate with respect to y, you add dy. Okay? So derivative of y squared in terms of x, obviously 0 dx. Plus derivative of y squared in terms of y. So that's 2y dy. Right? Equals derivative of x in terms of x. That's 1, then dx. Plus derivative of x in terms of y, that's 0 dy. Once again, kapag kabisado nyo ng process, you can just eliminate those zeros. Okay? Itong mga 0 na to. Then plus derivative of 1 in terms of x, 0 dx, plus derivative of 1 in terms of y, 0 dy. So you shall have, wala na to, this, and this. Okay? So what do you have now? 2y dy equals, right? 2y dy equals dx, 1 dx. And then, you divide this by, anong hinahanap natin? We're looking for dy dx. Okay? So, i-divide natin ito by 2y because we don't want 2y here and we don't want dx here. So, 2y dx. Then, you can now incorporate the cancellation law, right? And then dx. So what do you have now? dy dx is equal to 1 over 2y. Now, when we try to compare our previous answer by applying, the explicit differentiation, you might find it different, right? Right? Ito yung galing dun sa kabila. So first method natin, by explicit, okay? And this is the implicit derivative. And you try to remember from here, y squared equals x plus 1, you know that y is equal to plus or minus the square root of x plus 1. It's either ito yung galawin nyo or ito. Kung gusto nyo itong galawin, that will become dy dx equals 1 all over 2 plus minus the square root of x plus 1 is your y. So 1 over 2y, yun na yun. Right? Or, ito naman yung gagalawin nyo. So you have 1 all over 2. What is y? Plus minus the square root of x plus 1. And then, ito na siya. Okay? So it's up to you kung anong gamitin nyo. Whether implicit or explicit, it's up to you. Okay? That's one of the ways on how to employ implicit differentiation. Or yung ginagawa natin earlier, okay? So that's y squared equals x plus 1. Derivative of y squared in terms of x, 0. Derivative of y squared in terms of y, so that's 2y. Then you affix dy dx. Equals derivative of x in terms of x, 1. Derivative of x in terms of y, 0. Derivative of 1 in terms of x, 0. In terms of y, that's another 0. So therefore, dy dx is equal to 1 over 2y. It's up to you kung alin ang mas madali. Okay? Ito naman madali lang din. Okay? Ito lang, nadidistribute yung dx at saka yung dy. Ito, naka-form na siya ng dy dx. Alright? Number 3. Say y, ito. Say x plus 1 all over x minus 1 equals xy. O, gawin kong y to, not 1. X plus y, x minus y. Right? So you first simplify the given. So what you're going to do is you just cross multiply. So this will give you x plus y, right? Equals xy times x minus y. And then you can introduce that xy each term in x minus y. So you will have x plus y equals x squared y, right, minus xy squared. And then you can now employ the implicit differentiation. What do you want to use? Ito or ito? It's up to you. Pag ito, naka-form na siya ng dy dx, then tatapon lang ng tatapon sa kabila, then ilalagay lang sa ilalim. Then I will teach you the easiest technique on how to do this. Okay? There's a theorem relative to that technique. If you want to employ this technique, so you'll have derivative of x plus y in terms of x. That's 1. Right? Then plus, kapag nakakita na kayo ng dy dx, ibig sabihin, you are now differentiating it with respect to the dependent variable. And in this case, it's y. Derivative of x in terms of y, 0. Derivative of y in terms of y, 1. Equals, in terms of x. In terms of x, that's 2xy. In terms of x, minus y squared. Plus, dy dx. In terms of y. In terms of y, x squared. In terms of y, negative 2xy. And then, isolate all the terms containing dy dx. So you have dy dx times, this is 1. Then, minus, you throw this on the other side, x squared minus 2xy will become 2xy equals 2xy minus y squared, then positive 1, throw it on the other side, minus 1. Then finally, you have dy dx equals, yeah, 2xy minus y squared minus 1 all over this. 1 minus x squared plus 2xy. All right, you're still with me? Hello?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. Any question, clarification? Continue. What number are we? 4. Y cubed plus y equals x to the 4. Find dy dx. Okay. So you can use this theorem. Okay. Given the function f of xy equals 0, then dy dx, you can write dy dx of the form negative derivative of f in terms of x, all over the derivative of f in terms of y. So that's negative df dx all over df dy. Now, pag baliktad naman, ay di ba baliktarin nyo lang? Then dx dy, x being the dependent variable, is equal to negative df dy all over df dx. Alright? So, yan. Gawin natin to. Palitan ko pala. Gawin ko siyang dx dy. Letting x be the dependent variable. Okay? So, before you employ the implicit differentiation and before you use this theorem, itong theorem na to, your function should be written of this form. So, you let the right side equal to the left side. The left side equals 0. Okay? So, you have y cubed plus y minus x to the 4. Then, itapon nyo to dun sa kabila. Okay? And then, this 0, you replace it by f. Minus x to the 4. And then, finally, you can now employ dy dx equals negative derivative of y cubed plus y minus x to the 4 in terms of y. Sorry. We're looking for dx dy pala. Dx dy. So, in terms of y. Nako. Yan. All over. Okay? Y yan. Y. Okay? So, in terms of y, that is 3y squared plus 1 all over in terms of x, that's negative 4x cubed. And you're done. So that's negative 3y squared plus 1 all over negative 4x cubed. Number 5. Say x raised to 1/2. Sige, mamaya yan. The square root of 2 plus x all over y minus 1 equals xy. Okay. Find dy dx. So we simplify first the given by squaring both sides. So you have 2 plus x all over y minus 1 equals squaring both sides. You'll get x squared y squared. And then you cross multiply 2 plus x equals x squared y squared times y is x squared y cubed. X squared y squared times 1, negative 1 is negative x squared y squared. And then you write this of this form. F is equal to x squared y cubed minus x squared y squared, then minus 2, then minus x. And that is our f. Then finally, dy dx equals derivative of f, negative. Derivative of f in terms of x all over derivative of f in terms of y equals negative times in terms of x. That is 2x y cubed in terms of x, negative 2x y squared in terms of x, 0 in terms of x, negative 1. Then in terms of y, so x squared, then y cubed, 3y squared. In terms of y, negative, copy x squared, differentiate y squared, 2y. In terms of y, 0. In terms of y, that's another 0. And you're done. Yan. Okay na yan. Okay? Number 6. Question? You still there?
Opo.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I hope you're able to learn the technique. Let us try this one. 4x squared. Hold on. Ah, man. Where am I? 4x squared plus 9y squared equals 36. Okay? Find dy dx. Anong gusto nyong technique? What technique you want to use here?
Yung pong ano, yung pong pinakahuli pong ginawa.
Yung pinakamaikling
Yung last.
method. Sige. So again, before you do that, you must write this into 0 equals 4x squared plus 9y squared minus 36. And then you replace that 0 by f. Then dy dx equals negative df dx all over df dy. Ito naman ay modification lang ng mga previous process na ginawa natin. As you can notice, naka-ratio na agad siya, di ba? So ito ay modification lang nung unang method at saka nung pangalawa. Pinasimple lang. So negative df dx, derivative nito in terms of x. That's 8x, right? Then plus 0, plus 0, plus 0. All over, derivative nito in terms of y. So 0, derivative of 9y squared is 18y. Then derivative of 36 is still 0. And you're done. This is equal to, anong makakancel natin? Negative 4x divided by 2 over 9y. Yan. That's negative 4x over 9y. Say we want to look for the second derivative of y in terms of x implicitly. Okay? And then dy dx, then differentiate it again, you got d squared y over dx squared. And that is the second derivative of y in terms of x. So since, you know, the function here are mixed up, x and y are still mixed up, and then we employ the process of implicit differentiation. Kasi you can still see the y, the x, and they are mixed up on the function or on the expression, then you use implicit differentiation. Nagkakaintindihan? Hello?
Opo.
Yes po.
Okay? And then how do you do it? You keep your eyes on the board. Again, isusulat ko muna yung process. You differentiate this in terms of x kasi we can no longer use this one, yung nakaganito. Pwede naman, walang problema doon. Okay? Pero, hindi, malilito lang kayo pag ito ang ginamit natin. Ito na lang, mas malinaw. Negative 4x over 9y, then plus, differentiate it again in terms of y. Makamalito lang kayo kapag ito ang ginamit natin. Pero pwede rin. Naka-ratio and proportion naman siya. Okay, then you have derivative of negative 4x over 9y in terms of x. What do you think? Make it larger, your Jamboard. Pwede siyang palakihin. And then, all right. For those who are on the Google Meet. What is the derivative of negative 4x over 9y in terms of x? Can I hear someone?
Negative 4 over 9y po.
Okay. That's negative 4 over 9y. You will just copy this and then differentiate x. Okay? Then plus. Okay? Since you are differentiating with respect to y, you will affix dy dx or y prime. And then you now differentiate this in terms of y. Go. In terms of y.
Negative 4x over 9.
Negative 4x over y over 9.
One more.
4x over y. 4x over 9y squared po.
That is
Over
4x
9y squared.
all over 9y square. Right? So bakit po nagkaganon? Now, if you don't want, if you cannot comprehend this one, kasi constant yung, alin ng constant? Yung negative 4x over 9. Constant yon. So ano yung i-differentiate nyo? Yung 1 over y. Ano ba ang derivative nito? Negative 1 over y squared. So ito yung imumultiply nyo doon. Kaya siya ay naging positive 4x all over 9y squared. Now, kung hindi nyo pa maisip yan, ganito ang gawin nyo. Familiar na naman kayo dun sa pag-constant, kinokopya lang. Okay? Negative 4 over 9, copy x, then y, raise it to negative 1. Okay? Then, differentiate in terms of y. So, copy x, copy negative 4 over 9, then derivative of y raised to negative 1. Negative 1, y raised to negative 2. And eventually, you'll get this. Okay? And then, to go on, you have negative 4 over 9y and plus dy dx. dy dx is negative 4x over 9y. So you replace, I'll change color. You replace dy dx by negative 4x over 9y and then times this. 4x over 9y squared. And then we simplify. Kaya pa ba? Equals negative 4 over 9y, then minus 4x times 4x, 16x squared, all over 9y times 9y squared, 9y cubed. And then we write this as one fraction. Okay? I hope you're still with me. Then sulat ko sa taas. Then get the LCD. The LCD is
Sir.
9y times 9y. Oops, hold on.
Sir, hindi po ba
Hindi po ba
81y cube po yun?
Ay, yung naman. Why is it 9? Sorry. It's 9 times 9. It's 81. Thank you. Yeah, it's 81. Then you get the LCD. That's 81y cubed. And then 81y cubed divided by 9y. That's 9y squared times negative 4. Negative 36y squared. Then minus 81y cubed. Am I right? Tama ba? Hold on. 81y cubed divided by 9y. That's 9y squared times negative 4, negative 36y squared. Then 81y cubed divided by 81y cubed, that's 1 times 16x squared. Right? And then, allow me to make it larger. Then we can now have, I can factor out what? 16 and 36. 4. We can factor out negative 4. Negative 4 times 36y squared divided by 4. That will become 9y squared plus 16 divided by 4, 4x squared all over 81y cubed. And then negative 4 all over 81y cubed. All right. And remember, from our given, 4x squared plus 9y squared. Let me drop it from here so that you can compare. All right. Where's that? So this is 4x squared, the yellow one, 9y squared, 9y squared, 9y squared plus 4x squared is what? Is what?
36.
36. So that's negative 4 times 36. All right. Oh. That 9y squared plus 4x squared can be written as 36. And finally, you will have d squared y over dx squared, right? So, mag-cancel tayo. 36 over 81. Mag-divide tayo ng 9, na? Right? So, we have what? 36 divided by 9 is 4. Then, 81 divided by 9. Divided by 9 is 9. So, negative 4 times 4, negative 16. All over 81 divide, this will now become 9, sorry. 9y cubed. All right? Tama? Hello?
Yes po.
Okay,
Yes po.
next. If I ask you to find, you keep on differentiating, the third derivative of y in terms of x. In terms of x. So, will you still apply implicit differentiation given that the second derivative of y in terms of x is negative 16 over 9y cubed? Do you think it's still implicit or explicit na? There's no more x.
Implicit pa rin po.
Implicit pa rin po because there is the presence of the dependent variable on the right side. So, implicit pa rin siya. Okay? Let's do it. Andito na din naman tayo. Madali na to. Okay? So, kasi when you differentiate this in terms of x, 0 na to. In terms of y, maglalagay ka lang kayo ng dy dx. So, the third derivative of y in terms of x equals derivative nito in terms of x is 0. And then derivative nito in terms of y, you simply affix dy dx. Then times, what's the derivative of negative 16 over 9y cubed? That is negative 16 times 3. Minumultiply lang yan. Then over 9, y, and then you add 1. 4, and then do not forget to change the sign. Okay? Or pwede nyong itaas kung nalilito on that part. So, negative 16 over 9, y raised to negative 3. So, negative 16 over 9 times negative 3, y raised to negative 4. Right? Kaya that becomes positive. Right? Then, to continue, dilaw na. So, d cube y over dx cube equals dy dx. What is our dy dx? That's negative 4x over 9y. Negative 4x over 9y times, then mag-cancel tayo. So, this will become 3. 16 over 3y to the 4. Okay? Then eventually, you will have the third derivative of y in terms of x is how much? How many pala? Sorry. Negative 16 times 4. 64x all over 9 times 3. 27y to the 5. So another implicit differentiation. Okay? One more. Any question, clarification? You can refer to the colors, ha? Sundan nyo lang yung mga kulay kung saan ko nahuhugot. Okay? Hello? Hello? Continue? Question? Clarification? Go on.
Sir, ba't nga pala po naglalagay ng dy over dx kapag kinukuha yung derivative ng x with respect to y?
No. Derivative of the function with respect to y. Because y is the dependent variable. Y y is the dependent variable. Now, if in the case na yung x ang nasa taas, eh di ang ilalagay nyo ay dx dy when you are differentiating the function in terms of x.
Thank you po.
Okay?
Opo, thank you po.
Dalawang beses. In terms of x, in terms of y. Then tingin kayo sa variable on the numerator, dy dx or dx dy. Okay? Then malalaman nyo kung saan kayo maglalagay ng y prime or x prime or dy dx or dx dy. Okay?
Thank you po.
Okay. One more. Say, what number are we? Hindi ko na alam. I'll make it 6 na lang. X raised to 1/2 plus y raised to 1/2 equals 4. Then, what do you want to use? Yung isa naman ang gamitin natin, yung not the theorem, yung second method natin. You differentiate everything in terms of x. 1/2 x raised to negative 1/2. In terms of x, 0. Plus, sorry, we're looking for dy dx. And the second derivative of y in terms of x. Okay? So 1/2 x raised to negative 1/2 plus 0. You now differentiate in terms of y. So you now affix dy dx or y prime. Kung if you find awkward to write dy dx, then you can use y prime. 10 times derivative of x raised to 1/2 in terms of y, that's 0. Then derivative of y raised to 1/2 in terms of y, that's 1/2 y raised to negative 1/2. Equals, you know that the derivative of 4 is 0. Yeah, you can drop this 1/2 up, or you can just multiply everything by 2, and then you throw this on the other side. So you'll have dy dx equals negative 1/2 x raised to negative 1/2 all over 1/2 y raised to negative 1/2. Cancel this out, and then you get the reciprocal to express the power positive. Negative y raised to 1/2 all over x raised to 1/2. All right. Then we are now ready to look for the second derivative of y in terms of x. Equals, there's an x, there's a y. So we both differentiate this in terms of x and y. Okay. Now, to make it a little simpler, so if you're not confident with this form, so pwede nyo gawing product. Itataas. Negative y raised to 1/2 x raised to negative 1/2. But if you're confident with this form, then if you're comfortable performing the division, then you go on. Okay. But I'm just giving you a lot of ways on how to do the mathematics of all these things. Okay. So in terms of x, so alin ang kokopyahin ko? Yung negative y raised to 1/2, and then alin ang i-differentiate? X raised to negative 1/2. Negative 1/2 x raised to negative 3/2. Okay? Pag ito naman ang ginamit nyo, madali lang. 1/2 multiply sa taas. Negative 1/2 y raised to 1/2 all over x raised to 3/2. 1/2 plus 1. Then change the sign. Ito at saka ito are just the same. Okay? Whichever is comfortable or convenient on your part. Okay? And then in terms of y, you now affix dy dx, right? Then times derivative nito in terms of y, you copy negative x raised to negative 1/2, then you differentiate y raised to 1/2. 1/2 y raised to negative 1/2. Yeah, and then we just simplify. We write this as one fraction. Okay, that's y raised to 1/2. Negative, that will become positive. 2, okay, x, then raised to positive 3/2. Plus, you can now replace dy dx by negative y raised to 1/2 all over x raised to 1/2. Then times, write this as one fraction. Negative 1. Then 2 sa ilalim. This is x raised to negative half, dala sa ilalim. This is y raised to negative 1/2, bring it on the denominator. Close. And then you can now simplify. Observe this y raised to 1/2 and y raised to 1/2. Okay? And then you only have, oh my, y raised to 1/2 all over 2, x raised to 3/2. You're still there? I hope you're not sleeping. Then minus minus, that will become plus. So wala na to. 1 all over 2, x 1/2 plus 1/2. That's 1. Okay? And then we can now get the LCD. What's the LCD? 2x raised to 3/2 and 2x. So that's 2x LCD, power of 3/2. Pag LCD, the larger power. Pag common monomial factor, the lesser power, the lower power. Okay? And then 2x raised to 3/2 divided by 2x raised to 3/2, that's 1 times y raised to 1/2. Then plus 2x raised to 3/2 divided by 2x is x raised to 1/2. Then times 1. Then observe this squared y over dx squared from the given x raised to 1/2, y raised to 1/2, that is equal to 4. So it's 4 all over 2 x raised to 3/2. 4, that is 2, that's 4 over 2, x raised to 3/2. Now, if I ask you to look for the third derivative, do you still need to employ implicit differentiation? Okay po.
Explicit na
Kasi
po.
po, x na lang to. So, madali na siya. 3/2 times 2, okay, all over x, then 3/2 plus 1. So, that is 5/2. Then, oppose the sign. So, that's negative 3 all over x raised to 5/2. You can still go on kasi explicit na siya. The fourth derivative of y in terms of x, okay, equals x 5/2 times 3, that's negative 15 over 2, and then you change the sign. 15 over 2, x 5/2 plus 1, 7/2. And then you just keep on differentiating explicitly. All right? 7. Say, lagyan ko ng problem. Sige, okay lang. Hold on. I'm just going to make a problem. Number 7. Find equation. Equation of the line tangent and normal to the circle hindi, wag na lang circle, to the curve, mamaya ka isusulat, to the curve at sige, this is the curve, let me see, x cubed plus y cubed equals 9 at 1, 2. So that's the point of tangency. Yeah, okay. So we have the function x squared, x cubed plus y cubed equals 9. Tama ba? And x is 1. All right, okay, that's 1, 2. Normal. Pwede ko naman ulitin. So we use the theorem. So you write this of the form f is equal to x cubed plus, oops, x cubed plus y cubed minus 9, right? And then dy dx, this is the slope of the tangent line. Diba? Meron tayong point of tangency. Ang kailangan lang natin is the slope. The slope of the tangent line equals the derivative of y in terms of x. Then equals, you have negative derivative of x cubed plus y cubed minus 9 in terms of x. That's 3x squared, then plus 0 minus 0. Derivative of x cubed plus y cubed in terms of y, 0, 3y squared. So you'll have negative x squared over y squared at 1, 2. All right. Then the slope is equal to negative x square all over y squared. And this is negative 1 all over 4. And that's the slope. Okay? So meron na tayong point, meron na tayong slope, and therefore, the equation of the line tangent to this curve is y minus 2 equals negative 1/4 x minus 1, right? Then 4 times y, 4y, 4 times negative 2 minus 8 equals negative 1 times x, negative 1 times negative 1 plus 1. And then ito, dalhin natin doon. Positive x plus 4y minus 8, then plus 1, throw it on the other side, minus 9 equals 0. And this is the equation of the tangent line. For the normal line, okay, so what is the slope of the normal line? If the slope of the tangent line is
4.
negative 1/4, okay, that's 4. So you just copy again, y minus 2 equals slope of the normal line, then x minus 1. So you have y minus 2 equals 4 times x, 4x, 4 times negative 1 minus 4. Alright, then itong itatapon ko doon. 4x minus y, then minus 2 will become plus 2 here. So minus 4 plus 2, 0. Alright, and this is the normal line. Number 8. Let me see. Find. Okay. Sige, okay lang. Sige, ganito. X plus y raised to 1/2 plus x minus y raised to 1/2 equals, say, 1. Yun na lang. Yeah, I think so. This is x plus y raised to 1/2, y, x minus y raised to 1/2. Yeah, pwede. Okay, find dy dx. Can you do this on your sheet? Implicit differentiation. Right. Yeah. Ang liit lang pala. Right. Oops. So 1/4. Yeah. By ODE approximation. Yeah. Okay. In terms of x, you have 1/2 x plus y raised to negative 1/2 times, in terms of x, 1 plus 1/2 x minus y raised to negative 1/2, in terms of x, 1. Then plus dy dx. Then in terms of y, 1/2 x plus y raised to negative 1/2 times 1 plus 1/2 x minus y raised to negative 1/2 times negative 1 close equals 0. Okay? Kopyahin natin. Then, dalhin natin sa kabila. Slide number 11. We have, okay? Then ito ibababa ko. 1 all over 2 x plus y raised to negative 1/2, a positive 1/2. Okay? Then plus 1 all over x minus y. Yeah. 2 x minus y raised to 1/2. Then plus dy dx. Then times, ito din, 1 all over x plus y raised to positive 1/2. Oops. Then there's 2 in front. Then minus. Will now become minus because of this minus 1. Minus 1 all over 2 x minus y raised to positive 1/2 equals 0. Okay. Right. And then the only thing we need to do is to write it as one fraction para magkaroon tayo ng, may makakancel tayo later on. So you have, you write this as, you get the LCD here. You have 2 times x plus y raised to 1/2 and x minus y, raised to 1/2. Okay. And then 2 times x plus y raised to 1/2 times x minus y raised to 1/2 divided by 2x plus y raised to 1/2. So magiging x minus y na. X minus y raised to 1/2. Plus, you do the same here. So ito naman magiging x plus y raised to 1/2. Then plus dy dx. Actually, pwede nyo nang tanggalin yung 2 since lahat naman siya may 1/2. Then you get the LCD. Oops. That's 2x plus y raised to 1/2. Then x minus y raised to 1/2. All right? Then on the numerator, you have the LCD divided by 2x plus y raised to 1/2 is x minus y raised to 1/2, then minus x plus y raised to 1/2. Okay? Equals 0. And then again, you observe that both terms contain on the denominator 2x plus y raised to 1/2, x minus y raised to 1/2. So you can drop that off. Drop. Okay? As long as the right side is 0, ha? And then you now have, you transpose this on the other side. So you have dy dx equals, transpose this on the other side. So you'll have negative x minus y raised to 1/2. And then minus x plus y raised to 1/2 all over this. X minus y raised to 1/2 plus or minus, yeah, it's minus x plus y raised to 1/2. Or you can write this as minus the square root of x minus y, right? Minus the square root of x plus y all over the square root of x minus y minus the square root of x plus y. All right. Okay? Yan. You can stop there kasi you can no longer do anything. Pwedeng ito or pwedeng ito. One more?
Sir, pwede rin pong
Nine?
gamitin yung isa pong formula po.
Oo naman. Sure. O, gawin natin. Nasaan ba yan? Ano ang given natin? Hold on. Kopyahin ko lang. Ito. And then we will apply MI. Ito. Yung DF, yung ba yan? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So dy dx equals, sulat muna natin pala siya. As f equals x plus y raised to 1/2 plus x minus y raised to 1/2 minus 1. And then dy dx equals, okay? Then negative derivative of this in terms of x, 1/2, okay? X plus y raised to negative 1/2 times 1. Then plus 1/2 times x minus y raised to negative 1/2 times 1. Since you are differentiating in terms of x, okay? Then sa ilalim, then derivative of 1 is 0. On the denominator, you differentiate it again in terms of y. So you have, in terms of y, 1/2 x plus y raised to negative 1/2 times 1, derivative of y, plus 1/2 x minus y raised to negative 1/2 times derivative of x minus y in terms of y, u of x minus 1. Okay? And then, since all the terms, you remember, you see that all the term contains 1/2, you can drop that off, right? Kasi makakancel nyo yun. And then, you can now simplify this by getting the LCD, writing it as one fraction. Okay? Do not forget that this is minus. So you shall have 1 all over. I forgot that minus, sorry. Pwede bang ipasok ko na lang? Minus 1 all over x plus y raised to 1/2. Okay? Then, plus 1, minus, because of that minus 1 in front. Minus 1 all over x plus y, or x minus y. What's happening? Raised to 1/2. On the denominator, you have 1 all over x plus y raised to 1/2. And then minus, because of this minus 1, 1 all over x minus y raised to 1 half. All right? And then, let me see. Oh, kaya pa ba? Sige, kaya pa. Equals. Get the LCD. X plus y raised to 1 half. X minus y raised to 1 half. Then you do the same here. X plus y raised to 1 half. X minus y raised to 1 half. And then on the numerator of the numerator, negative. Okay? X, cross multiply. Ito, dalhin doon. Raised to 1 half minus. Ito naman, dalhin dito. X plus y raised to 1 half. And then you do the same here. So that's x minus y raised to 1 half minus x plus y raised to 1 half. And then eventually, you can now cancel this out. Right? And then, andito na kayo. Hindi ko na itutuloy ha. Okay lang ba? Andito na kayo. Ito. From here, ito na siya. And then eventually, you write it in this form. Sige, tuloy ko. Blue. So, equals, sa taas. Negative, the square root of x minus y minus the square root of x plus y all over the square root of x minus y minus the square root of x plus y. Right? Okay? Question? Clarification? What happened? Ano nangyari? I-stop yung recording ha.